Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's 9 o'clock, and here I am live once more with Norma Talks. I'm going to just tell a little bit of a story in some ways and kind of put them together. One of the comments that came in from one of my talks was asking about, does the outside affect you? And yes, it does. But I really want to explain how this really came into focus for me. As you may be aware, on Monday nights at 7 o'clock, I am live doing what I call mental mind treatments. Mental mind treatments is an alternative prayer method that I learned many, many years called spiritual mind treatments. But, I'm a psychic, things come up. And so when I was looking at a title for this Monday night live program, I decided to call it mental mind treatment because I believe what it does, it changes how you think and works into the subconscious. As I began doing those, I found very often what people were asking for wasn't enough. I didn't have enough information to kind of grok it, sort of thing, put it all together. So I asked people for numbers between 1 and 22, which are the numbers that relate to the higher arcana of the tarot. I know them very well. I know what, and they talk to me. So by doing that and looking at the numbers that were given, I was able to expand why, how, and add into the mental mind treatment, which I would then do, just some more significance, more awareness. Something began, a pattern, so I should actually, let me clarify that. A pattern began to develop that I actually have mentioned it on there. So one night we might have one number come up, like you're giving me 3 numbers. So they're random. And it's like, but one number would keep coming up. And another week, another number would keep coming up. And I just sort of made a note of that. I thought, this is really interesting. And then, even last week, same thing. But that was what really triggered me to do this talk today on the collective consciousness. As a person who teaches how to create your reality or how to live in your reality, and the importance of the mind, of what you're thinking and how you're thinking. But the thing is, what you need to really understand that thinking comes from the deeper decisions you've made that sit in your subconscious because you have an automatic response. But every thought that you have goes out, and the universe, God, if you will, then has to figure out how to, all your workers, it's not like just one person's dealing with it. If you got workers that work on the other side, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what can we do with this? And often they're just muddled and they go into this pot. Now, what we began to happen, first of all, I really noticed that like for actually it was 2 or 3 weeks, I noticed that a lot of fear was coming up for people. Fear of this, fear of that, fear of the other. And so at the time, I wasn't taking a bigger notice. Then came acceptance. You need to accept what's going on. Now, these are actually a very good aspect of working with your life to get you to where you want to go. Just a sec. My voice is croaking again. My Alexa, not wine, by the way. And so acceptance was coming up. Then this last Monday, confusion. Just about everyone was having confusion. Now, afterwards, I sort of sat back and I thought, well, what's going on in the world right now? There's confusion. People don't know if there's going to be a war. They don't know what's happening in the banking system. They don't know what's happening in the money system. They don't know what's happening. They just don't know. They hear reports, they get, they listen to the news, they listen to the neighbors or whatever. People have different opinions. I know I get emails saying my banks is changing, all sorts of rules. And I'm just one person. And there's But it's when you're getting this. So, okay, where have we gone? We've gone from fear, a lot of fear. This was a couple of months ago, to acceptance, having to accept things as they are because you can't change them. The little guy can't change. They can protest, but we're not allowed to protest much these days. So there's all that going on. So now we have confusion. What do we do? How do we do this? What's happening? Because we don't know what's happening. Really. We presume we know. We think we know. But the big collective where everything goes into is in a state of confusion because decisions haven't been made. Now, let's just put that to one side for a moment. In your personal life, it is the decisions that you make that hopefully you then carry on that define your vibration. So many people don't always make the decision. They may make a decision, but they don't act on it. I should think there's three parts to decisions. One is you make a decision. And I usually use, because I've traveled a lot, oh, I'm going to go somewhere. So I make the decision I'm going to go somewhere. But until I go book the ticket, I'm not committed. So we've got the decision, then the commitment, and then you've got the acceptance. You accept the end result of what goes next. It's like, oh, there it is. You then reap whatever that is. It may be a great trip. It may not be a great trip. But you've taken your decision. You've made yourself commit to the decision, and now you get the benefit of that decision, whatever that may be. That's your personal world. Then you look at this bigger world where all this thinking is going on of confusion. It comes into your world. So you don't always know what's going through your head. I spent a lot of years watching my thinking processes because I knew that was one of the big things. And even though I'm very big on emotionality, as you probably know if you watch my shows a lot, because I believe that we're here to be really aware of the emotions. But our mind creates. So, and then we put our emotion behind it to have it manifest. But if you're not clear on how your mind works, and it works because this is where it gets complicated. It works because somewhere along in all your lifetimes, and a lot of people don't even believe in other lifetimes, and that may be future lifetimes as well as past lifetimes and concurrent lifetimes. Don't get too confused with all that. There's that confusion word again, is that you have made decisions that have gone into your subconscious. So no matter where you go, you tend to remake those same decisions. And I've spent a lot of work in the last few months actually really digging deeper into that. And so it's like understanding how all this works and then being able to totally clear that, which has become my mission right now, actually, to work with people who really want to clear all that deep stuff, which is you don't always just achieve to get there. But anyway, we can get there now. I do know how to get there. But be aware of the collective consciousness. Be aware of what's happening in your world that is going through your brain, that is you're picking up, whether it is through a poster, whether it is through an email, whether it's through a comment, whether it is just in the air. You are going to be absorbing a lot of that. So unless you're a hermit, you really, and even if you're a hermit, it's in the air. It's in the air. So for me, next Monday night is going to be a little bit exciting because I want to see if anything is shifted or if confusion is still running into people's lives. We are not in this world alone. I forget how many billions of people there are now. I think 5, 6, maybe 6 going on to 7. They all think. Some people think with lots more force, but we all think. And every thought goes out and finds its vibration. Sure, every culture has its own culture and own awareness. Every country, the same thing, like They have their way of looking at things. But then there is kind of this blanket that when everything is, it's like a big stew, actually, a big stew. And then whatever it is that your subconscious has will relate. So you may have a fear because somewhere, sometime, you fought in a war. Maybe you're a female sitting knitting at this moment, but you fought in a war, and now there's war talk out there wherever you look or wherever you go. And so what happens, it triggers those memories inside. And even though you haven't left your house, you begin to get unsettled. And then what happens, that begins to come into the life so that you can become confused because you're not sure what's going to happen next. Because we have memories, many of them locked away. I mean, that's how I began going inward, was through past life regression, remembering different lifetimes. At that time, I didn't even know how to resolve them in my body at the time. We just went, as though it was almost going on a little tour, oh, let's go look at this. I had to go back and redo a whole lot of stuff. In fact, I mentioned that in my book. My past life talks about past lives. That I had to. I always remember my early ones because I just carried them for a long time, and then I realized how to transform them, and then I had to go back and retransform them. But they'd already gone into my long-term memory, so I knew them quite well. And there were some very, very interesting ones that had taken place. But anyhow, what I'm getting at is you're not even if you're a hermit, you're not alone, because the collective consciousness is around our planet. It is there for each and every person to be able to become aware of. That you will pick up thought forms. If you go out in the mall, you're going to pick up people's thought forms if you're not really clear of what's mine. I always go, when I have something new come in, is this mine or is it somebody else's? But somebody else's, bye-bye. But, I spent a lot of years getting that straight. I spent a lot of years reacting to things that weren't mine. Because I'm a little bit, and so I was going to say a little bit emotional, but that's probably obvious. So anyway, it's like, where do you want to be in this? Do you want to be part of the confusion, the fear, the whatever, or you're just going to accept, okay, the world's in a bit of a turmoil right now. And we know, if we listen to any astrologers, if we listen to other signs, that this is a changing time period, leaving Piscean age into the Aquarian age. Other patterns that people bring up, that some people say it's in the Bible, we change so many hundreds of years. There definitely is a change happening. There is definitely a change happening in us, like me, that are older, haven't got a clue where we're heading. The younger people will grow up with it. I remember talking to I think it was my sister-in-law, because she has grandchildren, and I said, they're going to understand this. We don't understand it. That's not of our era. But the young people are going to grow up with all this. They're going to know what to do. They're going to know how to handle it. And that's why these new kids that are coming in are a little different than maybe we were. And of course, I'm getting up there now. So it's like we were at the end of an era. But our essence, our minds, our emotions still have reactions. So confusion, fear, and then comes a message: accept, relax, be you. And I know with my clients, I talk about habits, watching your habits. I talk about, and I do that with here occasionally too. Look at your habits. How do you respond? I've been a bit, I'm a Cancer. And my family used to talk about my crabby moods. And I've been a bit crabby lately because the weather is so bad, and because I don't have certain medications because of my cancer treatments, that my joints hurt. So it puts me into a little bit of a crabby mood. Like I'm kind of sharper than usual, and kind of more, this is how it is. But it's because I'm not 100% comfortable on the inside. My shoulders hurt, my hands hurt, everything hurts when this kind of weather that we're getting where I am. Accept you as you. I can't change that because I thought, oh, Norma, you're being a little, fast here, like very clear, like, and that is a part of me. I know most people don't get to see that. Thank goodness my family did because they grew up around me. But so we got to accept who we are. And yeah, sometimes we're not perfect. We want to be a certain way and we're not. But what are we contributing to the collective consciousness? What are you picking up from the collective consciousness? Many people meditate and they go into peace, but then they walk out the door and there's all this craziness. And then well, Jesus, a moment ago I was feeling peaceful. Now I'm not. What happened? Thoughts came in from the world out there. And if we're not really clear in here, this is mine, this is not mine. And again, I always teach when you have a thought that's not yours, you freeze it, you evaporate it, and you replace it with what you want. And that makes the difference. That makes things happen. That makes you get to where you want to go. We can't stop the collective consciousness. It is there. What you can do is become more in command of who you are, what you do. And remember, when you get like me, a little crabby because everything hurts, self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Connect with that, whatever spirituality you have, where you know that you are loved beyond measure, and forgive yourself for being a human being. We are human. Remember that. We are human. In this time, in this place, we feel, we hurt, we cry, we laugh, we're joyous, we're sad. That's all part of being who we are. But the confusion that's coming in now from the collective consciousness, just be aware of it. You don't have to be confused. You can just accept, I don't know what's going on. And because we don't know who runs everything. We think we do, but do we? We don't know what's happening or what's taking place. We think we do. We think, oh, we can trust this one or we can trust that one. It'll tell us the truth. But what truth? Whose truth? You only have your own truth inside as to how you feel. And when you feel confused, just accept that and take a breath and deal with what you have to deal with. And if you have to learn something new, if you have to understand something in a different way, so be it. But be calm and peaceful, because the biggest thing is remember you are totally loved for who you are. And the thing is to allow that in, to be with that. Because very often in the numbers that I get on a Monday night is that shows the lovingness is there and then it goes a little crazy. So anyway, that was my talk today around the collective consciousness because it was staring me in the face. And also someone asked a question about it. And in a sense, that was what boiled down. And I just want you to be aware that you're more than what you may think you are. You're have more of an effect because every thought that you have goes out there. So calm, peaceful is why the acceptance is so important. And then decide, what am I going to do? I can do nothing at this moment except know that love exists, knowing that peace exists, knowing that people can have that inside and they can be comfortable and they can make decisions that work for them. Life is an interesting journey, and I thank you for joining me on this journey as we move forward. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you. And new subscribers, thank you. They don't give me your names anymore, but thank you. We're slowly climbing some little mountain. I want to thank you for that. And I appreciate that. That gets me up. Pains in my hands or not, pains in my shoulders or not. I'm here at these times, like today at 9:00, Sunday morning at 9, 7:00 on Monday night. And if you really want to see how mental mind treatments work, 7:00, I'm there for approximately half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, depending how many people come and want a treatment. And here's some words from me regarding the numbers. I wish you well, but I hope and trust that you understand the collective consciousness a little more, and the confusion which may be going is going by. I want to thank you. And Lisa Marie, thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. Blessings to you, my dear. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye now and go off and have my day. You have yours. Enjoy. I'll see you Sunday morning, 9 o'clock for a Sunday thought. Bye now.